Hi. So today is a little bit different. I'm posting from a cell phone. I'm out somewhere. I don't know if I'm technically on the the Appalachian Trail right now, but some friends, my son, and I are hiking, spending 2 nights out here in the woods. Feels good. And anyway, wanted to keep myself consistent. So use the camera you got, which is my cell phone. And I'm out walking from where we're camping to try and see if I can find a cell signal so I can post. If not, I'll post later. Not a big deal, but why am I trying? Well, it's not really about being consistent so that other people have, I meet their expectations or whatever. It's really about myself. I learned through coaching. It was actually a health coach that I saw for a while. She introduced me to this idea of, I forget what they're called, but micro goals, or anyway, tiny little commitments that you make that are accessible. And the idea is that you make these commitments, things that you will actually do consistently. Sorry, my arm's getting tired there. And they're not so complicated that it's likely you won't do them. That's the really critical thing. Like, maybe it's not something that changes massively your life. In my case, I wanted to exercise more. Well, my micro goal associated with wanting to be able to exercise more was each morning I had a goal of going outside and putting my feet in the grass. That was it. I didn't have to do anything else. Just that. Now, some days I would go out, put my feet in the grass, and be like, oh, I'm going to go hike or go for a walk or whatever, and I'd get some exercise. I think I'm doing the same thing here with this show that I'm trying to write, with my learning, my journey as a wannabe filmmaker. I want to push myself to produce something each week. And there's not necessarily a lot of value in each post. And as I've said before, maybe nobody will really care to watch these. Maybe I even won't care to go back and look at them. I think if I'm successful in some way, it'll be interesting to look back and have this history of my journey. But more than that, it's actually part of making sure that I keep moving on the journey. And I would encourage anyone interested in integrating something new, making some change in their lives, to consider small ways to make that, I guess, start making a change. Prove to yourself that you can do it. So every week I post something. Every Friday I try to record it. If I can't post it that day, that's okay. That's not the hard part for me. It's the actually doing it, recording it. And what gets in the way of me actually recording it is, what do I have to say? What's it going to look like? Is it going to be good enough? Is it something people are going to like? Well, I've thrown aside all of that. And literally the only thing that matters is that I do something. So here's something. And if there's any value in that bit of advice, there it is. Now, one little bit of progress from this week, and I'm going to stop and rest on a tree because I am tired and exhausted and a little bit pooped. Anyway, this week, squirrel, rabbit, I don't know. This week I had a task. My company is doing some work for the company that my wife works for. And part of that process involves interviewing some of the people that work there, doing high quality interviews. And we wanted to do a test run just to make sure we were getting the aesthetic right, make sure that we were asking the right questions, getting the right content. I asked a couple of the people on my team who are more experienced or have studied out how to do that kind of thing more than me, to put together a document with tips and ideas and things they wanted to see, the kind of aesthetic that I should go for and the kinds of things I should be concerned about and careful about. And it was really helpful. The place that I was recording was in another town at the office where my wife works, and we went in on a Sunday, so we would just be the only ones there, trying to isolate, be COVID safe and all. And she has a tiny little office. It's cute, but it's really tiny. And my immediate reaction after seeing it was, there's no way I can get nice separation and depth. I'm not going to get a nice I mean, I'm a rookie trying to get a nice cinematic feel from this space. Long story short, it was really stressful. But the stuff that I was exposed to was really helpful to me. Like the material that they gave me and the tips they gave me was really helpful. You know, I hadn't intended to do a B cam, and so I ended up using an A cam, B cam. I used not this camera, but a Alpha 7 R4 was my B cam, and I went ahead and set that up. Got some really good tips on lighting, like expose for the windows, because I had a window in the shot, and then light the subject after that. That was super important. I made some rookie mistakes. I really did. I had my A cam, the FX9. Should have been beautiful, right? I had manually focused it initially to get some idea of what the bokeh would look like, and then forgot to actually focus it for the shot. I got lucky, and it's close enough that it looks good in standard definition, which is good enough. And really, it was a test for aesthetics, and we were able to answer the questions we needed, but I was embarrassed to have to admit to my team I made that mistake. I also had my B cam on 30 frames a second instead of 24, and I made another mistake. What was it? Oh, shucks. Admitting my sins. I forgot my third sin. Now I can't confess it. Anyway, so I was really stressed going through this, and by the end of the interview, I realized I had my frame rate wrong on one camera, and it wasn't until I got home that evening and started pulling up the footage like, oh crap, I really messed up this shot. The focus is soft. And I finally kind of worked through the emotional depression that comes from failing, right? And pulled it all into DaVinci Resolve and set up a multicam sequence, figured out how to do that. I hadn't done that in Resolve. Usually used Premiere for that, but it was pretty slick. I liked it. And did a little color work. I'm not good at color still, but I was just trying to match the two. And by George, it looked really nice. And I was proud of it. And I showed it to my people, and they were like, this is really good. And they had a couple little things to think about next time, tweaking a couple lights. But the truth was, it came out really nice. And it was a real confidence booster to me. It wasn't something that I necessarily want to deliver to the client, but wow, I learned so much, and I feel confident that I can go into a tiny office now, and using some of these lights that I have, the LED lights that are really flat, big pancake flat things, back them up in the corner, I was able to do it. And I should probably reference one video, maybe I'll put it in the description at some point later. This one video that I watched about lighting an interview, which actually was really helpful to me, and the guy's humor was fun too. But yeah, just another example of the power of moving forward. These micro goals help you keep moving forward. Sometimes it's just make yourself do it, keeps you moving forward. And one last thing, if you're a parent, you have kids, teaching your children to be good citizens can sometimes be a frustrating process for parents. It can be a very exhausting process. I have 2 children. They're wonderful, wonderful children. And one of the things that my wife, who's much smarter about these things than I am, introduced me to is the idea of get off your butt parenting. And that is, if you tell your 2-year-old to stop doing something and they don't stop, no, don't go beat them. We never hit our children. But you get off your butt, go over there, help them do whatever it is you're asking them to do. They're really effective with 2-year-olds because they don't like to be, they want to be independent to some extent. And if you're, it's like, Johnny, you can put away the dishes, or you can, well, that's too much for a 2-year-old. You can carry your cup to the sink, or I'm going to help you do it. And invariably they'd want to do it themselves, but you had to get off your butt. You'd have to get involved. And so I'd like to leave you with this thought. Filmmaking. Get off your butt. Filmmaking. Just do it. And you will learn, and you will get better, and you will grow, and you will make mistakes. And mistakes are the substance of learning. And right now I'm feeling really good because I had that really good interview, and I've been hiking for the last like 4 hours, so I'm in a really good mood. But maybe this is a good little pep talk for me to come back to later when I'm feeling a little depressed or down with the whole process. There's gnats around me. Whew, lots of them. Maybe you'll hear them buzzing in the video. All right, that's 10 minutes in. I think that's all. Don't forget to get outside and get your own exercise. Don't forget to make films. Have fun. Thanks for tuning in. Bootstrap Cinema. Good stuff.